Welcome, this is Mr. Fisher Flips 3rd grade math. This is the agenda for the third lesson that we're doing, and this is math lesson 1.5. Welcome, and we're going to be learning the 2 times tables today, so get ready to do even numbers. And to start out, make sure you have your where and when. Are you watching the video? Your summary should be the 2's times tables, or something to that effect, and you need to come back with a question, a story problem that you can share with the rest of the class or with your group. And at the very end, I'm going to give you a few more problems to whet your appetite. Here's my title page, and if you notice, we're going to be identifying patterns in 2's when we do our count bys and in multiplication, and we're going to relate that multiplication with division. Let's get started with a quick model of what I want you to know how to do. We're going to model, explore, apply, and problem solving. First, let me demonstrate. This is the math board that we will be using in class. I'd like to demonstrate how we use the math board. And if you notice, we're going to write down our patterns that we can find in the 2's times tables. If you notice, as we go around the whole board, we can actually circle 2 at a time and find the skip counting pattern. We can go around and circle the 2, the 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, etc. But do you notice something with those numbers? Are they odd or even? They're all even. Well, here in the middle, you'll notice that we have written down our pattern, and so our pattern is writing down the equations 1 times 2 equals 2. Well, if we look at this pattern, we can also count by 2's, and 2 plus 2 equals 4. 2 times 2 is the same as 2 plus 2. But we go to the next pattern, 2 plus 2 plus 2, and that equals 6. It's the same as 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 3 2's. And so this helps us understand that adding is a form of multiplication. We can use multiplication to do quick adding. And notice here's our pattern. It's all even numbers, 2, 4, 6. And these are do you remember what these are called? The sums. When you have 2 parts together. And when it's in a multiplication problem, it's a product. Well, let's do some skip counting. If you notice, I've already set this up, and we're going to start at 0, and we're going to count by 2's, and we're going to count to 20. And I'm just going to push this button, and I want you to count out loud with me. It's going to show us jumps on a number line. Let's see if this works. Okay, count out loud. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 14, 16, 18, 20. We moved it by 2's 10 times. So that's called skip counting, and we did it just with the 2's right now. Well, let's start applying some of what we learned about 2's times tables. Let's look at this problem. If you'd like to stop the video, this would be a good time to stop and see if you can do it, or do it with me. To understand this problem, we need to use a pictograph. And to use a pictograph, we need to count these milkshakes, or these smoothies. And each smoothie, if we look at the key shows us something very important. It says each of those stands or represents 2 drinks. So every time we count, we have to count by 2. We need to find out how many peach banana blast drinks were sold. So we look on our chart, and there's strawberry sensation, peach banana blast, mango madness, and citrus surprise. Let's count the peach banana blast. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Uh-oh, this one's cut in half. What do you think we're going to count that one as? Are we going to count it with an extra 1 or an extra 2? Let's try it. Some of you said count by 2. So let's write down our answer. We say that there are 16. Okay, some of you might think it's 16. But if you see that that is split in half, what's half of 2? Even though you think it might be 16, it really should be 15 shakes or 15 drinks that were sold. That's our answer. Well, stop the video and see if you can do this independently. Use the picture graph to solve the problem. In all, how many Strawberry Sensation and Citrus Surprise drinks were sold? Go ahead and count those up. And remember, you're counting by what? Twos. Well, did you figure it out? If your answer was 16, you're correct. Because if you add the Citrus Surprise, which had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drinks, and 5 times 2 is 10, plus the Strawberry Sensation, which had 1, 2, 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 6 plus 10 equals 16. And that's our answer. Well, in class, we're going to try looking at this problem. It's an anytime problem, and they try to stretch our brains a little bit. So if you look at this, we have Tyler, Kyra, and Emily finished in first, second, and third places. Tyler finished 1 second behind Emily. How many different ways could they have finished the race? So it doesn't give us all the information. We have to come up with so many different ways that the three of them finished. We'll look at that together in class. One of the things you can be doing at home is you can start practicing your times tables. And one of the things you can do is you can take out this folder, and underneath that folder you're going to find a multiplication table, or on the inside cover. And the way that works is you have to figure out how to do your twos times tables. You could skip count going down, and you could count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Or you can go across 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. But to find out your twos times tables, maybe you want to find 2 times 5. And so you go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you notice that 5 times 2 is 10. So you can be practicing that at home, and do it with a partner if you need to. Okay, there was some confusion on the signature sheet and the practice sheet. This practice sheet helps you practice your 2s, your 5s, your 10s, and your 9s. This sheet helps you or your parents check off when you have passed off one of the times tables. And if you notice, you can have, this is just kind of put on the fridge, and you can check off when you've completed your 5s, your 2s, and if you notice, it lines up with the practice sheet. So this count bys is the count bys right here. And the multiplication with a partner is the same as the multiplication mix-up. And the division goes along with the division mixed up. And we'll be talking about the check sheets. They'll be going home probably at the end of this week. So you can start practicing your 2s and your 5s with those practice checkup sheets. So you should have got this practice sheet. This practice sheet helps you practice your 2s, your 5s, your 10s, and your 9s. Make sure you plan and study this each night so that you can practice your 2s and get those passed off as soon as you can, so you can move on to the 3s, the 4s, and the 5s. Now we do that as a class so that you can practice and pass them off. And that's part of your grade. Well, this is our assignment that we will be working on in class. You notice it starts out with even and odd numbers, and you need to be able to recognize that even when there's more than one digit. So here's a 2-digit number. Is it even or odd? And this assignment is page 28 in our book, so we'll be looking at the vocabulary and applying that. You can use your fingers to count by 2s. Hold up one thumb, and that represents a 2. Hold up a thumb and a finger, and we're counting by 2s, 2, 4. Count up 3 fingers, and we get 2, 4, 6. What would it be if we had 5 fingers up and we were counting by 2s? What would be our number? The number that we're looking for, the sum of 2 times 5 fingers, is 5. 5 times 2 equals 10. And so you count starting with your thumb, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Here's an activity I'd like you to think about and even try at home. Use a mirror to model multiplying 6 by 12, or 6 by 2, because it does equal 12. You get the mirror out and you put down 6 tiles or 6 dots, and you put the mirror next to it, and you can see that there's 6 on this side in the mirror and 6 on the table. You can also find some other expressions using a mirror. Maybe you can figure out some equations. To whet your appetite, I've given you a couple problems right here, and these 2 problems are using the story problems. See if you can figure out how many carrots Jason served in all, and how many eggs are in each row. And stop the video and see if you can do these 3 problems. Find out how many stamps Cindy used, and then figure out 7 times 5 and 10 divided by 5. And here's a home activity that you can do at home. You can challenge your father to see if he'd rather have a choice of receiving $1 per week allowance, or 1 penny on Sunday, 2 pennies on Monday, 4 pennies on Tuesday, and so on until Saturday. Which is more? How much money would you have if you doubled the number of pennies you received each day for 1 month? This is actually a challenge. You do not have to do this one. I encourage you to do the previous 5 problems and see if you know how to do them. Going back over my agenda, we went through the lesson very well, but you'll probably still have some questions about division. As we talk in class, I'll show you some tricks of understanding how division is working backwards. That's all I have for tonight. Good night.